The graphics card is the second most important part of a gaming PC. However, it is not needed for a computer to operate. The graphics processing unit, also known as the GPU, is a specialized processing chip used to create and output images to a screen, as well as manipulating computer graphics. This means a GPU excels at rendering 3D games, and a better GPU generally means you can crank the graphics settings higher and get better FPS in games. Don't worry if your system does not have a standalone graphics card, though. Most processors have integrated graphics, or graphics processing units inside the processor. Graphics cards are a lot like processors, in the way that they are manufactured by two companies. AMD, who also makes processors, is the first manufacturer of graphics cards, and the second is NVIDIA. These two are very similar to their processor manufacturing counterparts, in the way that AMD is hot and fast, and NVIDIA is more expensive and efficient. However, graphics cards and processors have one key difference when it comes to manufacturing: outsourcing. The way manufacturing graphics cards work is a bit complicated. First, AMD and NVIDIA make the actual graphics processing unit, and then other manufacturers such as MSI and Gigabyte build the actual card around it. You see, a graphics card is comprised of a graphics processing unit, a daughter board, video RAM, also known as VRAM, a cooler, and output ports. When combined, these components create a PC part that cools, stores, and outputs things for the chip. Now that you know what a graphics card is comprised of, we can get into the different aspects of the graphics card: chip, VRAM, and clock speed. First off, we have the chip. The chip is the baseline of performance in a graphics card, but it is extremely difficult to compare chips. For example, a GTX 960 from NVIDIA is better than a GTX 950 from NVIDIA, but there is no way to tell exactly how much better without benchmarks. Thankfully, both manufacturers have a mostly standardized method of naming their chips that allows you to gauge which chip is better than another. Most recent graphics cards have a 3-number name that is separated into 2 or 3 parts. The first number is the generation. As generations go up, performance, cost, and efficiency generally improve, but it all depends on the exact chip. AMD has 2 modern generations, the 200 and 300 series. The best graphics card in the 200 series is the R9 290X, and the best graphics card in the 300 series is the R9 390X. The X tacked on means it is slightly improved over the non-X version. NVIDIA has quite a lot of generations, with a lot of them being older than 5 years, but the main ones are 500, 600, and 900 series. For some reason, they skipped the 800 series, but it may have something to do with the decade-old graphics cards having 800 in their name. The best graphics card in all these series have 80 as the last 2 numbers and a TI tacked on, such as the GTX 780 Ti and the GTX 980 Ti. The Ti at the end is basically NVIDIA's version of AMD's X. Now, you may have been wondering what the last 2 numbers at the end of the name were. In this, AMD and NVIDIA are extremely similar, because AMD's cards go from around 40 to 90, and NVIDIA's cards go from around 40 to 80. There are numbers lower than this, but they are simply not worth getting because of low price to performance. All this means is that the higher you go, the better the performance gets. Now that we're done with the main part, I'm going to plow through the rest of this. VRAM is basically just RAM for your GPU to use, and different games and resolutions use different amounts. This means that VRAM doesn't affect performance unless you overflow it, in which case the game slows down quite a bit. 2 to 4 gigabytes is a good number, but it all depends, and you should check on how much VRAM you need for your game and resolution before buying. Clock speed is the last part, but it's simple, and the only time it really matters is when comparing the exact same chip. But after that, it's pretty straightforward. The more, the merrier. But that said, that wraps up my Gamer's Guide to Graphics Cards. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed our content, and tell us what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.